right.
That looked dangerous.
Well. All right. So we're gonna start with a warm up. This was a good spot. So we're just gonna play a C major scale. There we go. Okay. And I'm gonna have you play different rhythms within the scale. So if you look in this first part of the Drei, leichte, as I pronounce it, I don't know. We got some different rhythms here that a 6th or 7th grader wouldn't have seen much before, which is what I would have given this to. So we're going to do a scale first with this rhythm, the dotted 8th and the 16th. And we'll do just a 2-octave C scale. I guess I can do the drone, and it's just going to be like this speed. Slurring 2 at a time. So, does that sound good? Got it? Or okay, yeah, and just go up to the C and go back down. So. Let's do one more time, maybe a little bit slower this time, just focusing on that top, just the top octave. Yeah, and then just, all of these are on the same string, so I won't have to do any weird string crossings. But just make sure the string crossing are nice and even, and feel like, let's see, so. Feel like you can use a good amount of bow, probably from about here to here or so. That's why I'm gonna have you go a little bit slower so you have more time to get that bow in. But yeah, let's try that again. Same thing though. So, oh, sorry. The next one we're going to do, same scale, but now we're going to do the rhythm of 2 16ths and an 8th. And it's going to be a little awkward, but what we're going to do is, all these are slurred in 3s. I mean, these are opposite, but these are all slurred in 3s. So it's going to be, so. You don't have to finish the last one since it's weird. So I'll give you the drone again, about that speed. So. Yeah, good. Yeah, so those are the tricky parts of this first one at least, just because you haven't seen a whole lot of those yet, and you have, but they wouldn't have. So let's start this. So we'll go to about, go here until whatever measure this is. And the tempo is, it says 92, but the big schnell munter, it means lively and fast, but it's more just lively. Don't think of it as a mad dash, just, it's supposed to be like, about that tempo. Nice poise to it. So yeah. So yeah, just start at the beginning and see how it goes. Let's stop there. So yeah, that was good. I think up until this point it was like 90% there. You're doing good. So let's start right here in the second measure. So you see kind of the overall phrase here where it ends on that low E, right? Mm-hmm. And so we're kind of arching our way up to the B, and then up to the C, and then we're going back down to the ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum. So the first thing I noticed was this bowing right here with the E to the B, if that can sound more connected with the crescendo in mind. So like, so what I heard was, and I want more of a drive to that B. And those are quarters, just remember. Yeah, that was good. That was way better. So let's do that again, and then just focus on this decrescendo. It's starting around that A. I think you had done it a little later in the measure, but make sure it's on that last eighth of the previous measure. So. Yeah, that was good. So yeah, that was a lot better that time. So I think we have this part down. So these quarters here on the next two measures. I didn't want to do it in the warm-up just because we didn't know the context yet, but I'm gonna have us do a little game here, and that's gonna target our arched fingers. So we should feel like we can play each note without having to really adjust our fingers in between, except for that one, obviously, but you should feel like you don't have to lift up your pinky for that A. So the game I want to do is, since it's pretty much on the C string and G string, I want us to try doing just going 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, and just alternating in between. Just keeping both of those notes steady and keeping the hand frame steady as well. So let's try that. I'll have you just do it by yourself, but I'm looking for.
What am I putting down on the G string?
Oh yeah, just your one for the A.
Okay. Yeah, so now that's good. So let's try doing that with the slurs now this time to put it in context. So it's that's good. Let's test that intonation right there with the F and the A. Let's play it as a third. Flat on your F. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. So when we get to that spot there, it should feel like we're in that third part difference position right there. Yeah, just like that. So it comes up again down here somewhere. Where did it go? Yeah, right there. So let's try from the beginning now, incorporating the sort of an arched hand frame a little bit more, and this applies to everything, but it's more relevant when you're doing stuff like this, where it's across the strings and stuff like that. So let's try from the beginning and go until there. And actually, I'll have you do the next couple measures too. So. So actually this is actually a little bit shorter than you think. You don't have as much time to reset there. So I think you were doing, it's gotta keep driving forward. Yeah, just like that. So let's start on this low E and go on, and then I want to hear that crescendo, duh, so kind of the same thing we had up here with the driving with that Same thing here with the F and the E. With that driving to the next eighth. So yeah, start on the slow E. Yeah. So one thing I noticed when were about here, your bow contact point was over the fingerboard, and it's all right if it's somewhat near because you're coming from around mezzo forte. But when we're going to that crescendo on the next measure with the G and the C and doing all that stuff, I want to see it more on that Casals highway, right around there. So it's all right if you're for that part. Oh, sorry. So right about there when we're to that high point with the forte with the D flat. So how about you start right at measure 9 and do that. Yeah, it was better. I think you had the bow pressure down, I think, and the weight, but I still saw it was starting to creep. It like changed when you had your down bows and up bows, but you were still generally in that area. So let's try having you do that again, but this time if I'll tell you if you're starting to creep. So let's start actually back here, and that's around mezzo forte, and I'll say bow. I'll say bow, but you keep playing, and you look down at your bow and see where you're at, and just stop when I say it. So when I say bow, stop, and then look at where you're at. Bow. Yeah, so about there. Yeah, so you fixed it right away, yeah. And it was a lot better than it was. So even there it was good. I think previously you were about up to here, but that time you were about here and you fixed it down to here, but I think that was fine where you were at. So let's try this whole passage now from the beginning to this measure here with the F. Keeping all that in mind. So. Yeah, that was a lot better. Yeah. All right. So working on now, we have kind of the same motive here as the beginning. It's actually the same note for note. So we'll play through that, but then I want to get to this section here. This is subito piano right here. So just make sure it's a big color change. You'll be mezzo forte around here, and then you'll be so let's try that. Starting from here with that mezzo forte and getting into that subito forte or subito piano part. Yeah, so I think actually that says mezzo forte here, but I feel like it could be a nice healthy forte there, just because it is a lot different than what we were doing over here. And then actually what we were doing earlier with the arched finger, it actually comes into play here as well, with that. So when you have that with that E and the F sharp, before you hit that B, you should have your fourth finger already on that G, then you have that hand frame. So all you have to do is just change your bow angle. Can we try that right there on that measure, 28? Yeah, one more time. let's start here at the subito piano, and let's catch that crescendo that I was talking about, and then end the phrase right there where we just stopped. Yeah, and don't be afraid to throw in some vibrato in there when you have these, especially when you have those quarter notes, to make it give it a little bit more color, not just so. Just to give it a little color. Yeah, so that was good. That section was good. So let's try this whole section now. Now that we've isolated this and moved through that, let's start at this second time that it comes in, hitting that subito piano, in that crescendo, and then what we did just there. Yeah, so I think around here, when you had the F sharp to those two pattern, make sure you don't rush off of those dotted eighth notes. I think you were doing whatever the next note is, but I think just making sure that you hear that subdivision inside your head, so that we don't get to the next downbeat before your pianist would. So, and then also I was going to say, around here I heard some squeaking, and I think that's because your bow angle is a little bit too angled towards you, and you're around there, you're crescendoing, so that's a big moment where you could potentially squeak. So when we're going up towards the bridge, we want a little bit of a flatter hair, just so we get more contact and it's not so wispy. It's more of a solid sound. So you can keep the original angle that you had, but as we go up with that crescendo, bring it a little bit closer to the bridge and then a little bit flatter hair, so we get a solid sound. So let's start the piano part, keeping that angle in mind, and then also not rushing these dotted eighths. So just right there. Yeah, that was a lot better. I didn't hear any squeaks, and that wasn't rushed at all. So yeah, it was good. Just making sure we aren't over time. Okay, we got time. So all right. So where did we just end? All right. So we just ended with this nice mezzo forte. So now we're going back down to a mezzo piano, and this is kind of an echo of what we just did here. And here it's a little bit louder. Same. It's basically the exact same thing, just some different notes. So let's try that. Right on that mezzo piano. Yeah. So let's try this. Your crescendo here was a lot better. I think with these, can we try adding a little bit of space in between each one of those? Because I feel like right now, just to give it a little bit, give yourself a sense to feel the subdivisions a little bit more. Let's try that right there, just on 38. Yeah, throw in a little bit of vibrato on those first, on the B's, and don't be afraid to stop the bow just a little bit. Yeah, feel like you're lifting up your arm just a little bit. Yeah, and then just throw in that vibrato that we talked about. Yeah, and then we can make it a little bit more present since we are at a mezzo forte. Yeah. And then, sorry. So yeah, that was good. And just remember, yeah, we crescendo up there. It was really nice there. God, my voice is going out. When you have this low E, not the low E, just an E, make sure you do, we want to end it nice and sweet. So, right, what you had done, which is, and we want to make sure it's nice and sweet. Yeah, so let's try that whole section again, focusing on that measure right there with those dotted eights, and then let's go on with the forte.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah. Oh, are we out of time? Oh, okay, yeah, just run this part. Just run that. Nice. All right, that's all we got time for.